After making hundreds and hundreds of different brownie recipes, I promise you this is going to be one of your most favorite recipes. It's delicious, it's moist on the inside, it's got a beautiful crusty exterior, it's not too sweet, and better yet, it's got a surprise on the inside. Join me, I'm going to show you how to make this really easy recipe for your loved ones. To start, it's always best if you have all of your tools ready before you even start mixing your dry ingredients. So I've got a whisk, I've got some measuring cups, some measuring spoons, a spatula, and a measuring vessel for the liquids, and of course, a bowl. Let's get measuring our dry ingredients first. I'm going to put the white sugar in first, and then I'm going to put the brown sugar in. The reason I put the white sugar in first is I find it just is easier to mix. If you don't use your brown sugar very frequently, you'll find that it gets a little bit hard in the bag. You can put a piece of toast, or rather a piece of bread, into that bag, leave it for an hour or so, and it should soften right up. And then we're just going to mix it together with the whisk. So we're going to whisk together our brown sugar and our white sugar to make sure that it's thoroughly combined. While you're doing this, you can also preheat your oven to 350 degrees. It takes a few minutes for most ovens to heat up, so while you're mixing your batter, that'll do its job. Crack your eggs into a separate vessel, just in case you get a shell or two into the vessel. It's easier to take your shells out before it goes into the mixture. It's a lot harder once it's in the mixture. So let's crack 3 eggs. I'm going to whisk the eggs before I put it into the mixture, just so I have the yolk and the white combined. Just a rough mix. Time to pour your eggs into the mixture. You don't have to start whisking it right away. Get some more of the wet ingredients into this bowl. Next, we're going to add the vanilla. And instead of melted butter on this one, I'm going to use some oil. There we go. Now it's time to whisk. This is where you want to make sure all your ingredients are combined. If you have lumps and clumps of your brown sugar, you can dissolve them at this point, and it really helps the entire mixture overall. So keep on mixing until you see that there are no clumps of sugar and that all the ingredients are really well combined. Okay, if you're taking a look at this now, you can see there are still a few lumps and clumps. It doesn't look like a uniform mixture. We're going to keep mixing until we have one consistency. This only took about 3 minutes to get it to this consistency, and it kind of depends on whether any of your brown sugar is lumpy and bumpy. We're ready for the dry ingredients, and I'm going to use a sifter to put all the dry ingredients in and then sift it right into the wet mixture. We're going to start with the cocoa powder, and part of the reason I start with the cocoa powder is when you begin sifting, the brown powder won't come up into your face, rather. And I'm using Dutch chocolate as opposed to regular cocoa powder. It makes a huge difference. Just throw that right onto the sifter. Your flour is next. Now, when you're putting your flour into the sifter, get as close to the cocoa powder and gently pour that in so you don't have a big plume of flour. And then we're going to add in salt. You cannot omit the salt. It brings out so much flavor of the cocoa powder and all the other ingredients. And now it's time to sift gently. We're just going to continue sifting it gently, and whatever you have left over in the sifter, please just discard. You don't want those clumps that are left in your sifter into the brownies. The key now is not to overmix this batter, but just to get it well combined, and then we're going to add in the chocolate chips. So just work it until all the flour is well combined and it doesn't look like you have any dry ingredients. So here you can see I still have a little bit of dry flour left in there. I'm just going to fold it 1 or 2 more times, and it looks like this batter is ready for the next ingredient, which is our chocolate chips. It's raining chocolate chips. And fold that in. Perfect. It doesn't take too many folds. We're just about done. That's it. That's all you want to mix it. I'm putting half a tablespoon of espresso powder. You can use any brand, it doesn't matter, but it really brings out the chocolate flavor. And this is our last ingredient, except for a special inside ingredient. Just give this 1 or 2 folds, maybe 3, and it looks like it's all really well combined. Now it's time to put this into our cups. if you're going to make round ones, but today I'm going to put it into a heart-shaped silicone mold. The easiest way to get the batter into these silicone molds is to actually use a little 1/4 cup scooper and just pour them in. So I'm only filling it about halfway first, and then I'm going to put my turtles and my Reese's cups in. Time to add that special little treat for the center. So I'm going to put it right in the middle and push down gently. And by pushing down, you're going to get rid of any air pockets that you have. My Reese's cups are very little, so I'm going to put 2 right in the middle. And this just makes every bite so much more delicious. Time to pour a little batter on top so we hide that little treat. Just like that. Once you've poured all the batter in all the little wells, you can shake it and smack it down a little bit and it will just even out the batter. I'm going to pat it down just to get rid of any of those bubbles, and it looks pretty good. You want to make sure you get an equal amount of batter in each one. So make sure they're kind of at the same level because you want them to cook evenly. It's time for them to go in the oven, and how long they stay in the oven is sort of dependent on how thick you're making them. This will probably take anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes. See you soon. These smell absolutely delicious. You can tell that they're done because they've got a hard exterior, and I'm just going to let them sit right in the silicone mold for about another 10 to 15 minutes till they cool down a little bit before I take them out. Remember, the middle is chocolate and it's warm, so it's going to be all melted. I want that to harden up a little bit. I've taken them out of the mold, and we're going to let them rest for a few minutes on a wire rack just till they cool a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of icing sugar on top. Not that it needs the extra sweetness, it just looks so much prettier. So we're going to cut one open just so you see what that inside turns out like. And you see the chocolate with the peanut butter is right in the middle there. You have a beautiful moist interior and a nice crispy exterior. This is going to be so delicious. This is probably one of my favorite parts of doing brownies is, of course, the tasting. I personally love a very moist inside and a very crispy outside, and it is just to die for. This goes amazingly well with a glass of milk. Because I enjoy baking as much as I love cooking, you'll find a lot of baking recipes on my channel that are super easy. Join me for more easy, delicious baking recipes. I hope to see you soon. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button.